welcome to the Global MEGAFist 12. We are live aboard what feels like a prison, a floating hostage situation. This is the Atsapattlin. We no longer know where we are. My name is Derek Osceola. I am joined by Lucille Crammelcorn in this hellish reality of 2020 in which we live.
Thanks, Derek. It's good to see you. It's good to see that octagonal-shaped cage structure from my monitor in my isolation closet. God, I wish I could see other people land, a cat, a dog, anything that is not the Atsapattlin. I pray for that.
100% I agree with you on that one. We have been stuck upon this ship for many months, and it is October, and we are getting so ever close to the finals of the Global MEGAFist 12. I want to say it feels like yesterday we just boarded. It does not feel like that at all.
Not even close.
Nope.
It's been a long time aboard this hellish existence.
Yes, this vessel of sadness. Well, we do have some violence of the amateur mixed martial arts variety tonight. One of many fights, 6 fights in total. The middleweights conclude their group stage. And this is a big one with many implications. I'm pretty sure I can say with most certainty, almost every fight has stakes tonight. I think we had that case last week with the heavyweights having their last group stage fight. Now it's the final group stage fights for the middleweights. And this is one with a lot to talk about. Donnie Bay versus Dale Branston. Donnie Bay coming in second place in the group. All but first place is up in the air right now. Dale Branston has to avoid potential relegation, or at the very least facing off in the finals for his spot in next year's tournament. We didn't expect to see that from the defending champion in the middleweight division, but here we are.
Yeah, it's a big shock for all of us. None more surprised than Mr. Branston himself. I'm sure. Been a bad go of 2020 for Dale Branston. 1-3 so far is not where he wanted to be coming into the final fight of the regular season. Not
at all, and yet I would have to just double check on the math, but there is a chance, with a win in the first round, he could rocket up above Donnie Bay. However, I'm not certain that there would be any sort of, there is a possibility that he could end up finishing in second place. That's how tight it is. Continuing into that, Paranorman, our host, and Grover Fuppenberg. A battle for potential relegation. Fuppenberg is in must-win status as well. That 1-3 similar to Branston's. He as well needs to perform against a man who just barely missed out on the semifinals last year. Paranorman, our host, who's sitting at 2-2. But Lucille, the one fight that actually does not have stakes for both fighters is this one. Chet Lama versus 3Zekiel Subset Alpha. The 4-0 3Zekiel has made his way already into the semifinals. There are no stakes other than just going 5-0. For Chet Lama, he could find himself into the semifinals with a win.
Yeah, it's impressive how 3Zekiel Subset Alpha has taken the competition by storm. 4-0, looking at, a perfect run, bragging rights. He's gobbled up pretty much just about every point that was available to him so far. He can't rest easy, though. It is mixed martial arts. There is always the possibility of suffering an injury,
yes.
Even in a win. You gotta be careful. But he claims to be from the future. He might know exactly what Chet Lama's going to do and nullify it, as he has seemed to have nullified every opponent's offensive maneuvers so far.
The man does claim to be from the future. He does seem to have the ability to defeat his opponents. 3 first-round submission victories, 1 in the second round. He has been dominant, and you can see right there, he is automatically going to be taking the first place position in Group A, regardless of result. He had that locked up. I think after his 3rd fight, he might have had that locked up. However, as you can see, as we've talked it through, anything can happen. Any combination of results can put any of these fighters around and about. I think Donnie Bay would be safe from relegation, but man, there is really just a lot of things up in the air. I think Chet Lama is safe regardless as well, but there is just so much up in the air in this fight, this series of fights. Let's head over to the other group, Lucille. Leon Pagliacci and Gordon Wu. This was potentially going to be the battle of the 4-0 fighters, but Gordon Wu suffered a defeat to Ed Picayune in surprising fashion. He was submitted in his last fight, but still a lot to fight for. Pagliacci technically has not clinched his spot. However, he is very much on his way. Just needs a good performance, and he will be doing just fine.
Yeah, it's really incredible to look at the two group stages and see how different they are. Ezekiel dominating his, and then you've got Pagliacci at 4-0, Gordon Wu at 3-1, and there's a chance that one or both may not even make it, just based on how the finishes and the points come out. This has been a much closer race here on this side for these fighters.
Yeah, we'll see it in a second. Just run through the rest of the card. Ken Dahl and Jerome Glorioso in what is effectively a relegation battle. I have to say that seems to be the case. Glorioso in dead last place. Dahl is right above him. Both these fighters looking to avoid that bottom 2 spots as well. The Tumor of Justice also at 1-3 and 5 points, taking on Ed Picayune, who is looking in from the outside. And you can see how tight it is at the top. It's a bit more of a divide between the fighters. Any 2 of those top 3 could make it in with the right result, as well as any one of those bottom 3 could avoid having to risk relegation to the Hyperfist tournament. One will be relegated tonight. One will be free and clear, and the other will have to go to the final show of the year and fight for their spot.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at again, not to disparage the Honorable President Jerome Glorioso, but he was another top competitor last year and just couldn't really get going this season. He's really struggled. Same as Dale Branston in Group A. It's been a tough 2020 for all of us, but those 2 gentlemen in particular have not had the best year so far, and they're going to have to really dig deep to avoid automatic relegation and even a survival fight in a couple of weeks.
And again, we'll explain that in just a moment if you're new to the Global MEGAFist 12. However, all of our fights tonight, amateur mixed martial arts, which means they are 3 rounds of 150 seconds each. That will count down to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. 2.5 minutes. To be exact, a 10-point must scoring system in effect. The round winner getting 10 points, his opponent getting 9 or less. As always, no to the groin, no hitting the back of the head, and this is amateur MMA, which means no one gets paid. Many of our fights go to a decision. The judges will score the fight based on aggression, damage control, and the winner of a best of 7 of 13 series of full contact Uno. Well, that is a lot to digest. However, we've been talking about points and standings. Just as a quick explanation, here is how the Global MEGAFist 12 works.
The Global MEGAFist 12 is a grueling competition like nothing ever seen before in mixed martial arts. First, the 12 fighters are drawn at random into 2 groups of 6 fighters each. Each fighter will face off against the other 5 in their group. A win is worth 3 points, while a draw is worth 1. In addition, bonus points are awarded for how fast a fight is won. Winning in the 3rd round is worth 4 total points, a 2nd round win is worth 5, and finishing a fight in the 1st round gets you 6 points in all. After all 5 rounds of competition, the 2 fighters who finish in last place are relegated from Global MEGAFist 12 and must earn their way back in next season. They will be replaced by 2 fighters from the HyperFist qualifying tournament. The 2 5th-place fighters will be matched up against 2 more fighters from the HyperFist qualifiers, with the winners earning their spot in next season's Global MEGAFist 12. The top 2 fighters from each group advance to the semifinals, where the 1st-place fighter from each group will take on the 2nd-place fighter from the other. The winners of these fights will do battle for the championship. It all comes down to one thing: win, and win fast. And the title of Global MEGAFist 12 champion awaits.
Well, that hopefully explains it for you all. But we are getting things started in a big way. Chet Lama, 3 Ezekiel Subset Alpha. That fight is happening right now. Our first of 6 fights tonight. Ezekiel Subset Alpha, Chet Lama. Guys fairly similar. Chet Lama has the slightest advantage. And for whatever reason, asked them their love language. I'm not sure all of them understood, or perhaps understood a little too well. And Ezekiel decides to taunt slash
ready?
Depress us all.
Let's fight!
Yeah, I've learned it's best not to ask Ezekiel too many questions beyond. Actually, it's best not to ask him too many questions. Period. It's always a bad time for me when I try and glean any information from this gentleman.
Yeah, you would kind of figure that for our current situation, it couldn't hurt to have him, help us out and tell us where this whole journey is going to end up and how we are going to. But no, he just sort of nods.
You go
talks
now.
about some
You
sort
go.
Of, prophecies, and I don't even know. But right now, he already saw he went for a submission attempt on Lama. We had an armbar. That's one of his preferred attempts.
Yeah, we have 2 highly, I guess skilled might not be the best word, but highly rated grapplers. They both have a lot of submission wins, and Lama was going for a rear naked choke. Good back take. That was slick.
Yeah, Lama's 2 wins this year have been via submission, and he actually did find himself. He's got that in tight. He is
Oh my God!
Wow!
Holy cow!
Well, the future is bleak. And also, 3Ezekiel Subset Alpha has been defeated in emphatic fashion by Chet Lama, who just might have done it again. I mean, there's still a lot to play out, but you recall last year it took him to the last fight of the group stage to book himself into the semifinals. He may have done the exact same thing once more.
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, we have two guys who are well versed in submissions, and Chet Lama just pulled out that rear naked choke, just trapped the arm, body triangle, sunk the arms under the chin. First round submission. That is incredible. That is big for Chet Lama.
That is huge for him. He's the only person who's been able to get a finish on 3Ezekiel. His only loss in the Hyperfist was via decision. But wow, we are still processing that. Coming up next, all right, Ed Picayune and the Tumor of Justice. Wow, one big win already off the bat. This is another one with a lot of implications.
I respect the dedication to finding this information out, even if there's really not much we can use it for. It's
a little bit of trivia, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something to occupy the time, at least for a few seconds. When there's not a fight going on.
Yep.
Another pair of solid grapplers here, Picayune and Justice.
Watch for him to grab your legs.
Yeah, the Tumor of Justice.
Use the elbow.
Struggling this year. Only one win via submission. Picayune, I think he submitted his way through this tournament. He's going for a Kimura already.
Control the wrist.
Look through to last year's tournament.
Beautiful.
The Tumor of Justice again submitted.
There it is.
All four of his wins were via submission in the group stages. Picayune did the same thing. And Picayune has 11 points. He's one point shy of Gordon Wu.
Beautiful.
He's very much fighting for a spot in the Final Four.
Stay on top.
But he needs a win to do that.
Take the back.
Absolutely, a win and a win in emphatic fashion, or at least quick fashion, to give himself some breathing room against.
Well, Wu has probably at you later knows what he needs. Will know what he needs to do going into it. But Picayune,
You go now.
a loss for Picayune puts Gordon Wu automatically into the semifinals. And he's going for that Kimura again. And the Tumor of Justice, well, he is potentially facing relegation. He is a fighter that lost to Dale Branson in the finals last year. And again, another story of these fighters struggling in their second season here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the Tumor of Justice, I guess we could maybe chalk that up to radiation poisoning. He is highly irradiated. He's fairly toxic to be around. Not his personality, just his cells are dangerous. And it could be that Dale Branson might have caught something from the Tumor of Justice during their bout, and that might explain both men's struggles in 2020. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. The only doctor or scientist I trust is Dr. Igor Tonic, and he hasn't cared to weigh in on the subject of the Tumor of Justice.
He's tired. His legs are tired from trying to hold that big foot. Okay, push the pace. Push the pace.
Confidentiality
on the ground,
anyway,
you can catch him all day long.
we go to the second round.
You can catch him all day
First fighters
long.
in the books in that, and we talk about the
You fight that
radiation
2-on-1. If he gets that body
out
lock,
of
you
every
gotta fight it
pore
off.
of the Tumor of Justice.
And you swim that arm over.
And I can't
Swim that arm
imagine
over.
that Ed Picayune being cut open in that first round is going to be any benefit to him, fighting someone who is literally radiating.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough hill to climb back from in rounds 2 and 3. It was a fairly close round. Picayune was close to a couple of submission attempts.
Okay, he's tired. His legs are tired from trying to hold that.
That visible damage of the cut
Are you ready?
That can sometimes sway a judge pretty easily. You're seeing a lot of blood splash across someone's face.
Sure could, and Picayune going right
Push
for
that
the,
knee, go past
yeah,
it.
went for the
Once
takedown. He
you
got it, but I don't think either fighter would mind this ground fight going to the ground. They both feel very confident. Here comes a Tumor of Justice just pounding away.
Hands up. There we go. Take it.
Just
If you
big
got his
heavy
hands.
shots from
Pick that
on
leg
top.
up. Yep.
But Picayune is determined
Take the back.
to reverse position, and he's
Swing it,
looking
drop the
to
elbow.
get Mount himself.
Good. Drop that elbow.
Again, like we said at the beginning, these are two highly skilled grapplers, at least amongst our roster of amateur fighters.
Yeah, of course, everything is relative at this point. And another armbar attempt. I
See
don't
if you
think.
can break that grip.
You got it! Wow! A big
Another
win.
impressive submission win.
Wow, that is huge for Ed Picayune. And I was just looking through his performance last year as well. The only fighter he has yet to submit is, well, aside from his losses this year, all of his wins have come via submission, with the exception of one man last year, for Ezekiel Subset Alpha.
Wow.
But he just cranks on that arm, taps out the Tumor of Justice, and for the moment, Ed Picayune in second place with Gordon Wu bumped down, still got to fight later. What a win for Picayune. Even if this is the end of his of his journey, what a great way to start out against some tough competition. 3-2 for Picayune. Well, we have more fights to come, but we have to find out which fighters will be joining the Global MEGAFist 12 next year via the HyperFist. The HyperFist has been a tournament going on throughout the entirety of 2020. I'm going to kind of recap and catch you up. You're going to learn who one of our two automatic qualifiers is right about now. loser. Hyper Fist.
Stay heavy on the
Winner
head.
goes on
Keep
for a
angling,
chance
keep angling.
to fight at the finale against the 5th place fighter, one of the 2
Try to get
5th
a
place
takedown if
fighters.
you can.
Follow him.
Iggy Thunders are
Keep busting his legs up.
grown-up punk rocker.
Tap, go!
More of a
Leg
father
shake.
age
Look
now
down,
taking on Mason Quarry. Bowie drops almost immediately.
Stop. Fight's over, guys.
Continues on. They got the win just before the bell in round 1. Opponent in the lower half of the bracket.
Don't go down!
This man Thaddeus Rose in
Nice,
the red,
nice.
our Shakespearean actor with anger management issues. Or Reginald Charles,
Pressure.
the scared
You got a lot of
straight
time.
prisoner.
What's your aim?
Reginald Charles
Right behind it.
quite the travels here in the Hyper Fist, but Thaddeus Rose has been here before. He came oh so close, and ultimately will be going through the same trial. He gets the submission victory. Thunders versus Rose. Stay alive to that one, but we will find out who our first Hyper Fist qualifier in next year's tournament will be. Will it be Patricio Avenal,
One six. Dip into the left now.
highway patrolman with dreams of
Let your hands
being a
go.
star, taking on Vincenzo
There
the
it
Goose
is. That's
Thompson. He's under, I guess when you're on a moving riverboat, this is pretty
There you
good
go,
witness
guys.
protection. So,
Come on, come
I don't know if we
inside,
got him
work
as a
your
stowaway or if
position
he
here.
actually was
Keep it
intended to
down.
be a fighter,
Way to
but
work.
he's here now
Go
and
for that knee bar.
went for a knee bar. Look at that.
That's it. It's over. It's over.
Seal, that is how this starts to shape up. Patricio Avenal has a second chance. He's only lost once. He will face the winner of Thunders and Rose. We'll find out about that in the semifinals. But that is our first. That is our first of 2 Hyper Fist qualifiers. Vincenzo the Goose Thompson will make his way into the Global MEGAFist 12 in next year's tournament.
Yeah, really great stuff from all the Hyper Fist fighters. Really looking forward to seeing who makes it out of these, the double elimination style bracket. But Thompson just is looking pretty solid out there.
Yeah, yet another submission expert, as it looks like. Thompson has won all 3 of his fights via submission. Maybe looking at another submission expert here in the middleweights. Well, we're going to keep the action coming. We got the other half of the other bracket of the Hyper Fist qualifiers in just a few. Coming up next, it's Paranorman, our host, versus Grover Buppenberg. puncher who welcomes spirits into his body on his show.
go, guys, fight.
Ghost insertion with Paranorman.
Throw that left right down the middle.
And
Throw.
I guess those were the spirits talking.
Hands up, chin down.
I guess early knockdown from Puppenberg. I'm just trying to
Yeah, that's fair.
There you go,
be rude,
nice.
Derek. Hopefully, if we can just push through the weird,
Way to work.
unsettling things Paranorman says, we can forget them quickly.
That's the plan.
Move it.
I don't want to deal with
Hands
boat
up.
ghosts
That's it.
any more than we already feel like we have to.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, Puppenberg is a entertainer of sorts as well.
Yeah, does his children's educational entertainment sort of show. Fuppenberg.
Punches
Yeah, he has the
straight.
Fuppets. He is the
Yes.
creator of the Fuppets,
There we go.
which are sort of velvety puppet type things.
Ready to move.
He has done his own public access channel show called Fuppenberg
Work it
Avenue.
down.
Stay tight in there.
Yeah, I was. I did get a chance to speak to him early on when he came on the Atzapatl, and I asked him what kind of gear he brought with him. Mitts, gis, rash guards. And he said it's just a lot of velvet, a lot of googly eyes, and a hot glue gun. So I guess he's just making more puppets. He was not intent on
2 minutes. Let's go.
sparring or improving his martial arts skills
Relax here.
while on the Atzapatl. He is.
Now here's my question, Lucille. If you are someone who that is your line of work, you
Breathe
make
him right now. Breathe him out.
velvety character puppet
Double up,
things,
boom.
puppets.
Pressure, elbow. That's it.
Would he try to fashion them into gloves? If he were to go sparring, would he use those as gloves if he were allowed to?
I think he would be more concerned about the damage that would be caused to the puppets if he were to, whether hitting pads or sparring with another person. I think he would be too nervous about
Control the clinch.
damaging
Left arm
the
inside.
puppets.
Don't go to the side.
Fair
Stay
point.
right there.
Fair point. Here, I'm going to add another wrench into that one. What if the two
Get it
puppets
back
on
up,
either
make it
hand
big.
had their own nice elbow, by the way, by Puppenberg, and goes for a flying knee? He's trying to land something in the tail end of this round. We're already through round one.
Time. Stop. Time, guys.
Puppenberg dominated that one quite a bit. Paranorman has been on a bit of a slide.
Gets that back, you fight that 2-on-1. If he gets that body
Puppenberg
lock,
needs
you
a
gotta fight it
win
off.
and needs it badly
You swim that
in
arm
order to
over.
avoid relegation.
Swim
He's
that
currently
arm
at
over.
3
Now,
points, 3
on
points
the ground,
below
you can
Dale
catch him all day long in
Branston.
that triangle and that arm bar.
He
You can
needs
catch him all
to
day long,
finish
okay?
this fight
That back, you
and
fight that
win.
2-on-1.
Unless
If he gets that
Puppenberg
body
sends
lock,
him down to
you
the
gotta fight it
hyper
off.
fist.
You
I'm
swim
gonna
that arm
ask
over.
even further. What if he
Swim
had
that arm
puppets on
over.
either hand, and those puppets, their own hands, had little MMA gloves? Do you think he would use the puppets to? It'd be like having 4 hands to contend with. Would that?
I mean, that would be pretty adorable, I think, depending. I mean, little tiny gloves on little tiny puppet hands would probably be pretty cute. His opponent, if you were to actually wear that in the octagonal like cage structure, the opponent definitely runs the risk of
Are you ready?
any
Are you ready?
puppet-sized fist. That's basically the size
guys,
of,
fight.
I assume, an eyeball. And
Don't stay in his
a punch
range.
to an
Hey.
eye is a legal strike. It's you can punch someone in the eye and it's not illegal. If a knuckle goes in, you can't poke with the extended finger, but a punch is fine.
Move to the
And
outside.
you
Stick
can't
to the
exactly
pin.
train up
Jab, jab, jab.
your
Jab,
eyeball's
jab.
toughness. So maybe that's for next year. Maybe that's something Grover Fuppenberg needs to consider.
That's
Tiny gloves.
that's a strategy I hadn't thought about. Puppets with tiny gloves.
Hands up, chin down.
Yeah.
Puppet fights, perhaps.
Make him reach it and make him pay.
And that is, well, that's, if nothing else, these are the things we think about. These are the things I think about very late at night.
Hands up.
And I cannot
Hands up.
sleep
Don't let those hands go.
here on this
Where's that body kick? Come on.
godforsaken ship.
Elbows now.
Hey, you
Meanwhile,
gotta
we're
throw
seeing
your
a
jabs,
nice,
baby.
they're going for broke. We saw a spinning back
Circle.
elbow from Paranorman to
Kick
start
the
the round.
Don't stay in his
Puppenberg
range.
going for a spinning back kick.
Throw that right.
That's a nice 1-2, just right up the middle.
Keep
That
angling, keep
landed
angling.
cleaner than really
Body
anything
head.
else.
Throw
It's just
the
easy to
right
go
the
with something
body this
safe.
time.
Double jab straight.
Flashy, you
Let's
can
go.
usually see it coming, but again, some of these strikes are landing. They're actually going and landing some really good stuff against each other.
Yeah, definitely
Stay heavy on the
good
head.
clinch work from Rory's.
Keep him on
Oh,
the
but
base.
Paranorman
Try to get
reverses
kicked
it.
out if you can.
Both men
Body shots when you're
utilizing
in that tight.
the clinch in some degree here.
Yeah, I recall from
face,
last
little
year's
face.
fights, Paranorman has used
2
that
minutes.
clinch up against
He
the
misses,
cage
make
pretty
him face.
well.
Get that double going. Get that
Kind of
double
suffocate
going.
his opponent in a way, but Kloppenburg, again, he's kind of just going for broke, and he lands 2 big shots, a 2-3.
He's hurt.
Big heavy blows from Kloppenburg.
Yeah, Paranorman's still fighting it.
Yeah, he's
Don't
looking to
let him
recover
pass.
decently,
Pick that leg up.
but might still be a little woozy if Kloppenburg can
There we go.
create some space and land another big shot. It might
Standing up again, yeah. And Kloppenburg is covering up. Looks like he was a little bit
1-6,
tired, a little
2-5.
breathing heavy. And trying to go for the finish, didn't do it. That's Fantastic. Oh my God! Oh God!
All right, stop. Fight's over. Fight's over, guys.
That referee was very slow in stopping that one.
I think he was just a little shocked as well. I would have to agree 100%.
Oh boy.
But what a knockout victory for Grover Kloppenburg.
Oh.
An all-important second victory in the second round. And Lucille, this puts him tied on points with Paranorman, with the tiebreaker having just defeated him. So in the hot seat right now is Paranorman, our host. Grover Kloppenburg gets a massive knockout win. His first finished fight this year. His other win, of course, a decision over Chet Lama. Goodness me. Well, we are going to know in just a moment how Group A shakes up. This is the final fight of Group A. Donnie Bay, Dale Branston. It's happening right now. When this fight begins, we'll get you all the permutations and who is fighting for what. And here we go. Of the tape for this, the final fight of Group A in the middleweight division. Dale Branston, one of our largest middleweights, has a 5-inch height and reach advantage over the lifeguard Donnie Bay. The paranoid lifeguard taking on the Pickle King of New England. Both deal with salty water.
You ready?
That's about it, I guess.
Let's fight!
Yeah, Bay is interested in making sure things don't stay in the salty liquid.
That's fair.
And Branston is all for it staying in for quite a while.
Yeah, all about submerging it, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that's I thought I had more, but my brain just told me
No, that's about it.
That's as hard as it goes for these two gentlemen.
Yeah, takes different strokes to move the world, and all different walks of life here in the Global MEGAFist 12. But Donnie Bay takes mount immediately and goes for an R-bar after landing a couple strikes. Bay is a very... Bay's had 2 wins so far this year, 1 via submission and 1 via TKO. So he is very well-rounded, but Branston very good at grinding out a victory, and it's a good thing because here's how things go going into this. Dale Branston is currently in last place with 6 points. If he wins, regardless of method, a win gives him 3 points or possibly more. He will move up to 4th place and be safe. He is fighting for his tournament survival. It would jump him up above Fuppenberg and Paranorman. It would relegate Paranorman and put Fuppenberg in our finale to fight for his spot. Possibly against Vincenzo Thompson, possibly against the other winner of the Hyperfist. For Donnie Bay, he is at 11 points.
1-6.
If he wins in the 2nd round or the 1st round, he will go to the semifinals in 2nd place, bumping out Chet Lama. Anything less than that, and he finishes in 3rd.
Keep away from that
Dale
cage.
Branston.
There you go, get in there.
The loss for Dale Branston is relegation.
Okay, I was about to ask if the extent of the notes that a win for Bay would automatically relegate Dale, but
Yes, 6
you answered
points.
5 seconds.
6 points for Branston on a 1-3 record so far. 2-3 is all he's got to do. And you know what? For Branston, he can come back stronger next year. He can look at that and say, look, pun intended, he was given a life raft by beating the lifeguard, appropriately enough.
Keep pressuring him once you get him moving back.
Absolutely.
Time.
You know, he's also been away from his pickling vats, his specialty salts, and
Hey, 5 minutes of hell, tighten your
herb
punches up. The
blends.
uppercut is there all day, but
he's
you
not
gotta
the same
bring
fighter
something
this year
behind
that he
it.
was last year.
You gotta
Find those punches.
You know,
Hey,
it's
and find
tough
the
to
knees right
have
after.
a big
Get to the body some too, okay?
shock to your system, to
I
your
want 4s
environment,
and
and
5s with the
expect
punches
a
now, right?
fighter
We
to
can't hold back now.
perform the same
Cannot
or even
hold
better.
back. Breathe. Give me a couple of
and
deep
everyone's
breaths.
just
One point, you go out there normal.
looking different. They're improving in certain ways. Some people are falling behind a little bit, but everyone's changed from 2019 into 2020, and
That is true on a larger scale. And yeah. And I will say that I to the credit of to the defense of some of the fighters who may have regressed a bit, I think the competition is getting that much stiffer.
You ready?
This isn't as new of an environment. Well, it is a new environment, but the idea of fighting
Let's
for
fight.
$0 is not a new and novelty concept anymore. But you raise an interesting point that Dale Branston does not have his usual vats of pickling liquid. Are we somehow implying that the man spends time in his own pickling liquid, like the same way that someone would like a cold bath or a jacuzzi?
Use the elbows.
I mean, it could be that. It could be, I've heard plenty of people say, "Oh, as Bay is looking
Nice
for
armbar attempt, yeah.
it's
Step
step
Keep
over."
cranking.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, will
lose
drink
it,
pickle
don't
juice
lose it.
to alleviate cramps. It could be that after a long workout, Branson has found that the only thing that can really help him recover is just chugging pickled brine or eating some of his own homemade pickles. And whether it's a electrolyte beverage or whatever we happen to have
Pressure elbow.
here on the Atsapadlin is just not cutting it for him, and his training has suffered. I don't know.
Perhaps so. I mean, again, he's a pickle farmer. He's basically he's a pickler, and he owns a farm where he does all of this in-house. So I mean, farm work is pretty hard work. I'm not gonna by no means am I downplaying the hard work of America's farmers, but again, he's already gonna be in that sort of like farmer shape that we always talk about, that farmer strong. But my goodness, he is he's been proven to be, and again, Donnie Bay is up against the clock right now. He's got 55 seconds if he wants to get a victory and stay alive in this tournament.
Yep.
He's going to remain in, but he wants to make it to the semifinals and stay alive and chance for a championship. He's got to get this win, and 40 seconds left on the clock.
Make him work harder than
Yeah,
you.
he was going for broke, looking for arm bars, looking for ground and pound from the top.
Way
But
to work.
Branson with that
Work,
reversal,
20 feet.
just as I say that, Donnie Bay is looking for a Kimura's or under 30 seconds in round 2. This is
Yeah,
going to be
he's fighting that off.
Find a way out.
Bay's really got to torque this if he wants to get a finish and, bump his way into the postseason.
Yeah, he's really trying. I think it was a very nice job by Bay to. I think he caught. Branston was going in for an elbow, and he caught it, and just this is looking like it's going to be possibly the end unless he can get something last-ditch effort. And it looks like that will not be enough for Donnie Bay. Picks him up, and that's going to be it. Oh, slams him down to the ground after the. Well, I guess you follow through, but my goodness,
Okay,
Branston.
he's tired. His legs are tired from trying to hold that big
He was a
foot.
little angry
Push the
now. He
pace.
might
Push the
have
pace
reason
on
to be a little angry for that
Listen to me.
extracurricular.
Don't crowd him. Relax. Don't go for the big hook. Use the right hand.
Sometimes
Hook right.
if it's
on
in
the
the,
ground, you
the
can
heat
catch
of the
them all
moment,
day long in that triangle
it's
and that arm
kind of
wrestle. You can
excused,
catch them all
but
day long, okay?
I think Bay had plenty of time to think about his actions, and
just
he
gotta
could have
go.
set Dale Branson down on his feet instead of driving him into the canvas with
Yeah,
that slap.
that's I think frustrating getting the best of him. Donnie Bay, well, even with a victory, will find himself tied with Chet Lama, who did in fact defeat him in the second fight of this year. So Donnie Bay will finish in third place, regardless of this result. However,
Gentlemen,
everything
ready?
to fight for
Ready?
still for Dale Branston. At this point, it's got to be
Let's
pride
fight.
for Donnie Bay. You know, you don't want to go and say, well, I didn't get what I needed to. You don't just. I mean, it's still a fight, so you don't just kind of turn it off, saying, well, I can't achieve the one goal I had, so therefore it's not worth it. Like, and he's still coming out, and they're starting off swinging. Like, I don't know if this is anger or frustration or just the athleticism and the will to win.
Yeah, it's not entirely sure. I don't know exactly what Donnie's corner was telling him. You know, if you know, it takes a lot of spreadsheets. I know for you and the rest of the stats team to work out all these possibilities. So I don't know if Donnie's corner, you know, had all the details of you need to finish in the second round to guarantee a trip to the semifinals or not. But yeah, you can't take it easy in a round. You know, that's how you end up getting knocked out. That's how bad things happen. So Bay, if he's got a good team around him, he'll be fighting just as hard in this round as he was in the first two.
Oh, well, he was still going for that takedown, and Branson just met him with an uppercut. That's the problem with going for the double leg, is you don't have anything to protect your face when you go in for it if you can't land it right away. That's a very good point. And again, you know, these scenarios, they are changing with each fight happening. Donnie Bay has the ability of him and Branston are the last fight of this group, so they were able to know what they need to do. As he goes for a Kimura again with 50 seconds left here in the third round, he knows what he needs to do. Not every fighter gets that ability, but really, he was only maybe told that maybe minutes before his fight, because the result happened so recently that it's not something you can prepare for ahead of time. You have to go in there prepared to win and know that, you know, you need to win. Faster is better, but a win is still a win.
Work the Kimura. There you go.
Absolutely,
There
you
you
know,
go.
regardless of your ability to move on or stay safe, you know, in terms of relegation, a win, a quick win, you know, that's always the best. You don't want to extend yourself for any longer than you have to, especially with zero money at stake. It's
Well,
might as well get it done quick
Fight's over.
before you expend too much energy.
There's a thing that fighters say. Their fighters are often not paid. They often say they're not paid by the hour. Well, these guys are not paid at all, and it's a matter of finding out who the judges will decide. Dale Branston, a little concerned. Will he get the decision? A decision victory will keep him in the Global MEGAFist 12 for next year. Not something we were expecting for the defending champion. For Donnie Bay, he is in a solid third place, regardless of result. It will be 14 points for him or 11 points for him with a loss. For Dale Branston, he will be relegated with 6 points, or he will be safe with 9. Here is the decision. It is coming in. Lucille, this one is close for call for me. I'm not certain.
Yeah, it depends on how highly the judges are scoring the submission attempts by Donnie Bay versus Dale Branston's ground and pound offense. There weren't a lot of them, but it was pretty significant.
And they give it to Branston.
The winner.
Well, Dale Branston gets the decision. And you can just feel that is barely a celebration. That is more relief than anything else, Lucille. That is a man who is very, very fortunate to be able to continue here in the Global MEGAFist 12 next year. He will not have to worry about fighting on the finale. And Donnie Bay, again, that will be the end of both those men as far as this year's tournament. We have 2 more fights to come to after this in Group B. A lot more to figure out. But first, we need to find out who the second fighter that will enter the Global MEGAFist 12 next year, and who that will be. The HyperFist qualifiers. It's time to go to them right now.
Punch his face.
Here we go,
Ready
the
to
second
move.
bracket for the HyperFist. Brucey
Control his
Larch,
hands.
our
You gotta fight for
lumberjack,
underhook.
taking on the
Nice.
this
Head movement.
independent
Just keep picking
contractor,
at him.
ambulance driver, puts it.
Control his posture.
He just takes people to. He's like an Uber for hospitals, but it's his own little like Honda Accord.
Work that wrist
Slovan
control.
Medovich.
Nice.
This is
He's
a-
got a bunch of gauze in the back seat.
Yeah, and some tarps so you know the blood doesn't stain the
Through half
fabric.
guard.
Stop. That's it. It's
He's
over.
gonna need some gauze and some tarp to avoid the bleeding. And Brucey Larch, a big knockout for Larch. He stays alive until Medovich's HyperFist is over.
Hands up, chin down.
And as we go to the other side of that one,
Underhook.
Kilgore Trang, the slaughterhouse, the one-man slaughterhouse. He literally
Bounce his head.
runs an independent slaughterhouse. He's the only person that works here. Taking on hockey stunt double Erwin Hansen.
Use your right elbow and get up.
And
That's
they took it to
it.
the ground. Not expected for these two who have been very much the stand-up fighters. Trang had a knockout.
Stop. Fight's over, guys.
Got the TKO victory early on. It'll be Krang versus Larch, still with all to fight for. We've got an automatic spot. 2 men, well, I think the colors kind of tell the story.
There it is, all day,
Blue
right
Man
there.
Group superfan Blue Drummond and the impossible Robbie Cheadle, who is
Hands up, chin
entirely
down.
or
Kick
part
it.
plant-based.
Come on,
I
man.
don't even know how that works, but
There you go. Get in there.
Yeah, not in the
Stay busy.
vegan way. It's
No.
something different.
Make him reach it and make him.
I don't even understand, and he drops. Well, I do know is he doesn't know how to fight, as he gets a huge drop in round 2, and Robbie Cheadle will join the middleweights next year along with Vincenzo Thompson. Robbie Cheadle wins the HyperFist along with Thompson. As for Blue Drummond, he will face the winner of Kilgore Krang and Brucey Larch, as that will be the elimination bracket. The winner of that bottom half faces off against the 5th place fighters in the grand finale. Folks, we've got 2 more fights left to go, and this is our co-main event. I can safely say relegation is on the line for these 2 fighters. We'll go through the scenarios in just a moment. Ken Dahl, President Jerome Glorioso. That fight is happening right now. our co-main event with so much on the line. And Dahl, very tall, lean, lanky fighter, 5-inch height advantage over President Jerome Glorioso. Glorioso, Paul, made the semifinals in last year's tournament. Lost to Dale Branston in the semifinals.
Let's go, guys, fight.
Glorioso finished the group stage 4-1 last season. He is 1-3 and facing relegation. It's a symbol for Jerome Glorioso. Win and you stay up. By any means, a decision win is 3 points. And obviously he can get more if he scores a win via finishing his opponent. However, 3 points is enough to put Glorioso in 4th place, ahead of the Tumor of Justice and Ken Dahl. For Dahl, he is assured that he will not be relegated directly. If Glorioso wins, Tumor of Justice is relegated, and Ken Dahl will go to the survival fight in the finale. If Dahl wins, then the Tumor of Justice goes to that finale fight, and Glorioso will be relegated.
Don't retreat. Hands up.
It is high stakes in this one. And it is amazing to see that so many of these fights on the final group stage, Lucille, are coming down to this. It's impressive. It shows just how tightly contested these are.
He won't go for it. Stand in the middle.
Absolutely, Derek. I mean, so much to fight for in all of these. You know, even our opener of 3Zekiel, who had punched his ticket long ago. I mean, Chet Lama's win has possibly given him the light of day to sneak into the semifinals, but this one especially, there is a lot at stake here. I am still surprised that President Jerome Glorioso is possibly on the brink of being relegated to the Hyperfist. He had such a great year last year, and
He did, yeah.
could not really get things going in 2020.
You have to wonder if he maybe got too comfortable being on a ship without contact with the outside world. That seems to be an exact paradise for him. Look at how he performed last year.
Don't stand there.
His method of winning.
Time. Stop. Time, guys.
One win via decision, and his other 3 wins were via TKO. 2 first-round TKO victories
Be sharp with
last
that.
year.
You gotta work.
His only loss was
One
to
quick thing, when you go
Norman,
jab,
our
bro, come
host,
back with the jab. Don't come back with the hook. He's leaning
via
back. He'll catch you with
decision.
the-
So you got to stay on balance. You got to
180 for Jerome Glorioso.
And you can't stop in one place. Okay? When you're done punching, you're
He's
moving.
facing a lot of new competitors this year.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, these amateurs, these men who have never, you know, fought before in any capacity as far as we're aware of, you know, kind of the early days of modern MMA were marked by, you know, grapplers having an advantage because no one really knew the ground game, and we saw that even with the, you know, guys like 3Zekiel and Chet Lama and Picayune. I mean, even the guys in the Hyperfist with good submission skills,
Are you ready?
or at least the
Are you
ability to
ready?
figure out submissions quicker,
Yeah.
have been doing well. And you know, it's the guys that,
Let's go, guys. Fight.
you know, a guy like Jerome Glorioso, he's got good knockout power, but if he can't keep the fight standing, if he can't dictate where it takes place, that doesn't serve him well if he's always on his back. It's interesting how even, you know, 20, 30 years after people kind of supposedly figured things out, you know, the same lessons are being learned over and over again.
Well, I guess it kind of is the, it very much is the early stages for these fighters. These are fighters with no experience whatsoever being thrown into a cage and fighting for whatever they feel like fighting for.
Come on, baby, 1, 2. Use that reach.
Yeah, it's
Nice body shot.
you know, being
Lead uppercut.
trying to figure things out in the middle of a fist fight is certainly an interesting way to learn. And oh,
that is it.
All right, stop. Fight's over, guys.
And that is an absolutely vicious knockout. Ken Dahl gets his second victory of the year, and it's enough to give him the buffer he needs. Wow.
God.
What a knockout. Just an uppercut sets it up, and a wide swinging right, and head first into the canvas. You know what that means. That means he was out before he even landed.
Didn't try to break his fall, just fell unconscious to the canvas.
Wow, well, Jerome Glorioso, when he wakes up, will still be president of that small subset of islands. However, he will be participating in next year's IRMstream qualifier to get himself back into the Global MEGAFist 12. Well, it is just about main event time. It was possibly going to be the battle of 4-0 versus 4-0. Gordon Wu suffering a loss in his last fight. Still all to fight for. Leon Pagliacci, Gordon Wu. It's our main event, and it's happening right now. Take for our main event. Pagliacci, Wu, Pagliacci undersized in this one, but he's been fairly undersized in a lot of his fights. Has not stopped before. He is 4-0 in his fights this season. Start contest, and then he was about middleweight through.
You ready?
He was about
Are you ready?
3-2 last year.
Let's fight!
And this is something to behold. He has really turned it around, has he not?
Yeah, it's you know, the more I think about it, I guess it's kind of fitting that the leader of 2020 is a depressed clown. It's it just kind of makes sense, you know, when you kind of put the pieces together that a sad clown is what is 2020 so far.
No doubt that is some true as ever commentary on our status and the state that we are in.
Yes!
That being said, he has been an incredible fighter. He has recorded wins in. He's got one submission win, one knockout victory, and has just ground out victories via decision on 2 occasions. Here's how things stand. Gordon Wu is in 3rd place with 12 points. He must win in the 1st or 2nd round. And by doing that, he will finish 1st in the group. with 17 points or more. 18 if he wins in this one. If he loses, he's in third place. And Pagliacci, well, Pagliacci right now has the tiebreaker over Picayune. If Gordon Wu wins in the first or second round, it will be Gordon Wu and then Leon Pagliacci as the top two in this group. If Pagliacci wins, it will be him and Ed Picayune.
Stand in the middle, let him come and fight.
And if Gordon Wu wins in the third round, well, if he wins by decision, then he does not have enough he will not have enough points to get into the top two. But a third round victory for Gordon Wu would be 4 points. It would be a three-way tie with Pagliacci and Picayune. And we would have to go down to some serious tiebreakers. We have to go to perhaps a tiebreaker because I think they would each have one win and one loss against one another to be even on points. I think we'd have to go to number of wins, and it might be Ed Picayune on the outside. I have to double check our rulebook, but we are into the second round in just a moment. First round, good amount of action, good feeling out process.
That liver kick's working.
Obviously, Gordon Wu wants to push the pace, looking for that finish. And well, Gordon Wu has he's taken his time a bit. His three knockout victories, or his TKO victories, all in the third round. And that's the sort of issue that has put him in this position. Getting the wins, he's just not doing it in enough time for enough points.
Yeah, we've seen that with some other fighters last year and this year, where they have the record, they just aren't getting the kind of results they need. They're not getting the finishes. Or they're not getting the finishes as early as some of their other, competitors, and it's a shame that that's what's was holding them back.
Go to the body and press
it's a great way to incentivize aggression and a killer instinct.
And yeah, the fun that comes with carelessness and recklessness. Absolutely.
Yeah, Pagliacci, he's not exactly safe. I mean, you explained a very detailed breakdown that I'm still trying to wrap my head around, but he was going for numerous submissions. He is not content to hold on for any kind of decision or late finish. He wants to get Gordon Wu out of this fight, out of the competition as quickly as he can, and get ready for the semifinals.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if like the third scenario is so complicated, you just don't worry about it. You go for the first or the second one, and you just kind of lock this one away, which he's trying to do with a Kimura again. You mentioned fighters with great records who ended up missing out. There is one name specifically last year. And read the top three in Group B of last year's middleweight tournament. First place was President Jerome Glorioso, 4-1 with 19 points. Second place was Chet Lama, 3-2 with 18 points. Third place was Paranorman with 17 points, but a 4-1 record. That is exactly the thing we're talking about, where Gordon Wu could sit at 4-1 and still miss out. And he is on his back right now with 70 seconds to pull something out. And it does look like Pagliacci. I mean, he's not gonna just give away the fight either. But it does look like Pagliacci has shown any sort of weakness or stumbling block where Wu can capitalize. It's been Wu on the defensive counterfighting this whole time.
Yeah, he's definitely he's best served if he gets the fight back to standing and fights at such a distance that if Pagliacci wants to take it to the ground, he's going to have to shoot from a really far distance, far enough away that Wu can see it coming and counter, knees up the middle.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The clock is ticking at this point. And again, an arm triangle. Pagliacci had nothing else. I want to say he's just trying to kill clock. I think he just knows he wants to go for the win. I don't think you kind of have, when you're in a fight, you don't really go for that sort of strategy. It's not like you're just taking a knee in football and letting the clock run out and saying you've got your victory. I think he's honestly trying to win this one, but it's not helping Gordon Wu in any way. Oh, he's spending it on his back, and he ends the round on his back yet again. and it looks like Gordon Wu will miss out
He's
just
tired. His legs
barely.
are tired. Trying to hold that figure 4. Okay, push the pace. Push the pace right now.
Yeah, if Pagliacci
On the ground, you
wants
can touch
to,
him
you
all
know,
day long
slow
on that
this away,
triangle and that armbar.
he
You can
definitely
touch him
wouldn't
all
be
day
going
long.
for submissions, you know, which
Good.
can easily
Okay.
tire
He's tired.
tire out
His
your
legs are tired.
arms,
He's trying to
or
hold
you know,
that
it's
figure
a
4. Okay, push the
triangle
pace. Push the
between
pace
your
right
legs, and
Good.
if you don't get it, then you're in a pretty disadvantageous position. He's looking to finish these fights. If he wanted to, you know, just finish the rounds out on top in full guard or mount or anything like that, he probably could, but he is looking to finish these submissions.
So Lucille, I've been given the list of the rules and pen and paper to do some math.
Gets that back, you fight that 2-on-1.
I have
If
not
he gets that
been
body
given
lock,
the
you
actual
gotta fight it
answer,
off.
but
Okay,
I've been given
fighters,
the ability
you
to do
ready?
math and
Are
tell
you
you
ready?
the tiebreaker. When fighters are
Let's
tied
fight.
on points,
We got 5 minutes, we're
the
done.
first tiebreaker is points won in fights involving tied fighters. So when it's a two-way tie, that's easy. Who won that fight? Simple one to figure out. We've done it a couple times. It's easy. When it's a three-way tie, so what would happen if Gordon Wu were to win in the third round?
Fight it! Fight
He would have taken 4 points against Pagliacci.
That's it!
Pagliacci would have
That
taken
wrist control.
3 points against Picayune, and Picayune would have taken 6 points from Wu, which means Pagliacci would be eliminated
Just like that. Keep doing that.
under that situation.
So if Wu can get a finish here in this round, he's
Pagliacci's out.
out. He's
There you go.
I mean,
nice.
he should be looking for a finish regardless, but that's
Yeah.
that's important to.
Again, it's such a strange tiebreaker and so deep into the level of tiebreakers that there's no way anyone has to know that going in. There's just, you have to just kind of, I mean, if Wu has run the numbers going into that, good for him, but there's no way you could have even, you can plan a fight around that in this exact situation. But all we know is there are 75 seconds to go, halfway through his final round. And Gordon Wu,
1-6, 2-5.
again, he just knows he needs to get points. That's all he knows, is points will help. But it does not look like Pagliacci is... Oh, wait, but there's that moment you were talking about, Lucille. I think it would have been an illegal strike. His hands were on the ground. But that's the kind of long shoot that you were talking about from Pagliacci that Wu could have capitalized on.
Absolutely, you know, even if you drop down and you know drop an uppercut, meeting the opponent as they dip their head or anything of that nature to you know just have force running into force. It's really devastating if you can time it right. If you can't, you might end up on your back, as Wu has numerous times in this
Right,
fight.
yeah, I think he was a big gun shy of that takedown, but I say it would have been illegal strike if it was a kick or a knee, but a punch would have still been completely legal. And we are getting to the final seconds. Can Wu close it out? Pagliacci looks like he was bothered by those strikes. He goes into clinch, and Wu is trying to find his way in that clinch. Pagliacci is just stalemating it, and that will do it. The round comes to an end. Well, victory or not, Leon Pagliacci has made it to the semifinals. And for Gordon Wu, well, if he gets the victory, it will be a bittersweet one, as he puts in quite the effort this year in the Global MEGAFist 12. He's already beaten his performance last year, going 2-3. He went 3-1, possibly 4-1, at the very worst 3-2. An excellent effort for Gordon Wu, but struggled down the line. And we're going to find out who will take this one. It's very tough. I might have to give it to Pagliacci.
Yeah, he was the aggressor in a lot of that fight with his submission work.
Have a winner. The judges have decided. It is Leon Pagliacci getting the win. All that tiebreak talk is actually null and void because we're going to get to it in a second. But that is where things go. And, well, that is our night of fights here in the middleweights. The group stage is in the books. And let's review our results tonight. Dale Branston with a decision victory. Chet Lama with the upset of the night, starting things off with a first-round submission over 3 Ezekiel. And Grover Fuppenberg getting the knockout win over Paranorman. Just a reminder where that leaves everyone. 3 Ezekiel subset alpha and Chet Lama will move on to the semifinals in November. Donnie Bay, Dale Branston, they will stay alive and they will be back into the tournament next year. Grover Fuppenberg will have to fight his way into the field for next year at the finale. And for Paranorman, our host, it is relegation for him. Very sad to see. On the other side of it, Leon Pagliacci gets his win. Ken Dahl and Ed Picayune getting wins in the second round. And here's what it does to those standings. Pagliacci and Picayune make their way into the semifinals. Gordon Wu and Dahl stay in the Global MEGAFist 12. The Team of Justice will fight at the finale, and President Jerome Glorioso will be relegated alongside Paranorman, our host, to the Hyperfist. Lucille, what a night of fights it has been.
Yeah, what an incredible night. Chet Lama, once again, as you mentioned, he did the same thing last year.
He did, yeah.
First round submission in the final bout to just punch his ticket to the semifinals after a fairly shaky slow start, and it's really incredible who he did it against, because no one looked to have anything for 3 Ezekiel subset alpha, but our hillbilly on the hilltop, the mystic of Tuscaloosa has proven himself to be, I guess, something that even someone with knowledge of the future or from the future cannot withstand. It's really incredible. And then on the other side of the bracket, Pagliacci, just keeps on winning. It's not always the flashiest, but he gets the job done, and that's all he needs. And he's going to be another tough one to face in the semifinals.
I'll give you a little bit of a taste of this. The semifinals are set now. Leon Pagliacci versus Chet Lama. Last year they did battle in the second fight of the group stage. Pagliacci won via second round submission. And 3 Ezekiel subset alpha takes on the man who defeated him in the Hyperfist last year, Ed Picayune. He defeated him by decision. But those are your semifinals, and if those aren't mouth-watering semifinals, I don't know what are.
Yeah, that's gonna be really excellent semifinal matchups.
Yeah, that'll happen in November. Yes, go ahead.
How is 3 Ezekiel gonna, his fight with Picayune in the Hyperfist was, like I said, it was a decision. It was a fairly close back and forth fight. This was some people might want to say that was a fluke, but I mean, Chet Lama has done this to people before.
Yeah.
He is a dangerous submission fighter. How is someone who is riding such a big wave of momentum going to recover from such a, it wasn't devastating in terms of being brutally knocked out, but just a devastating blow to the ego in terms of, he's the submission ace and he gets submitted in the first round by Chet Lama. That's going to be interesting to see. And then, of course, Pagliacci and Chet Lama, they know each other a little bit. They were on opposite brackets this year. How have both been improved? That's always interesting to see, a rematch, down the line of two well-versed fighters.
No doubt about that. Well, we have one more group stage to close out next week. Monday night, as always, it is the lightweights. Let's give you a quick taste of that. We have fighters battling to... Well, we have one group where 4 fighters can, anywhere in between first and fourth, can make it into the top 2. And another group where second through fourth are battling for their spot. I think even And then we have fighters in 5th and 6th place who are fighting for survival, not just for survival, but to potentially, between Beginnis Swordhouse and Rear Sergeant Val Gibbs, they are fighting to just not be automatically relegated. They're fighting to fight in the finale. That is where it's going, but that is all for next week. We'll explain that for you. The lightweights have been exciting as well, Lucille. It's been a great night of fights. Looking forward to next week again before the sullen, long slug and wait for the next fight after that, which would be the semifinals in November. But that is going to do it. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Global MEGAFist 12. For Lucille Cramblecorn, I'm Derek Osceola. We'll see you next week on the Global MEGAFist 12.